This morning, I went to my car to go to work. I live in an apartment complex and we have assigned parking. The lot was mostly empty, but my car and the one parked right next to me. I live in Washington State and it's pitch black and raining. From under my car near the driver's door, I see something move. It's dark and small, like a small cat. At first, I thought it was leaves, light reflection from the rain. It kind of turned, and that's when I saw a lizard-like creature. Only saw the back half for a moment. It was black, dark brown, and had a very distinct, very specific lizard tail. Its tail was maybe 6 inches long, thicker at the base, and then it was tapered. It walked low to the ground and slow. It turned away from me and disappeared under my car. I was paralyzed with fear for a moment, but I am a logical person. Probably a squirrel with mane. A messed up looking possum. Maybe it's a cat. And it's all wet and nasty looking. I quickly walked around to the other side of my car, and the car that was parked next to me, and didn't see it. There was nowhere it could have ran to without me seeing it. Empty lot, no bushes or trees close by. It would have had to run across the lot. I looked under the cars around them, didn't see anything. I still had the sense that it was there somewhere. I started my car and waited in case it just wanted to run away or something like that. But nothing happened, and I drove to work. What the actual hell? I worked in veterinary medicine for years and have seen a whole lot of stuff, but I've never seen a creature like this before. The weird thing too is that I got the sense that it was waiting for me or wanted me to see it. I am not high, not on meds, etc. Just a random person going to work. The crazy thing is that we don't have lizards up here. When I was 15, our family decided one winter we should go camping, and in Arizona winters weren't piercing cold. So we drove up into the mountains, and while I wasn't on board with camping, I was forced to go. But once we were there in this dark, empty forest, only thing in sight were tall, dry trees and slight frost along the tips of the grass. I was bored that night, and I wanted to explore a little bit while my family was setting up the tents. So I dove into the dark depths of the night. A chilling wind whispered through the trees, sending shivers down my spine, and obviously I was scared. But my foolish self decided to continue as the moon hung like a cold, pale eye in the sky, casting eerie shadows that danced across the ground. I found myself drawn to this dilapidated house at the end of this long hallway of trees, a place that gave off horrible feelings. Curiosity gnawed at me, propelling me towards the decaying front door. The weight of the wood creaked under my weight as I pushed it open, revealing a hallway cloaked in darkness. The air was thick with a musty scent, like decay and time itself. I flicked on my flashlight, its beam cutting through the blackness, revealing walls covered in peeling wallpaper. As I ventured deeper into the house, the floorboards groaned beneath my footsteps, as if protesting my intrusion. The hallway led me to a door, half ajar, revealing a room bathed in a sickly red glow. My heart raced as I stepped inside, my breath catching in my throat at the sight before me. Candles lined in the room, casting flickering shadows that danced upon the walls. In the center of the room lay a gruesome tableau, a body torn apart in the most horrifying way imaginable. Blood stained the floor, forming gruesome patterns that seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy. The stench was overwhelming, a sickly mixture of iron and decay that threatened to make me gag. I couldn't tear my eyes away from this macabre sight, limbs twisted at unnatural angles, viscera strewn across the floor like some twisted work of art. The walls themselves seemed to ooze with dread, as if the very essence of the room had been tainted by the violence that had occurred here. A low, guttural sound echoed from the shadows, and I spun around, my flashlight beam revealing nothing but darkness. My heart pounded in my chest, a primal fear taking hold of me as I realized I was not alone. Something was lurking in the corners, something that had reveled in the pain and suffering that had taken place here. A whisper brushed against my ear, icy fingers trailing down my spine. My breath hitched as the words seeped into my mind. A litany of horrors, a symphony of despair. Panic clawed at me, urging me to flee, but my feet felt rooted to the blood-soaked floor. In a moment, I knew that I had stumbled upon something beyond comprehension, a darkness that defied the boundaries of our world. As the room seemed to close in around me, I realized that the horrors of the house were not confined to its decaying walls. They had taken root in my very soul, forever binding me to the malevolent presence that hungered for more. I went to therapy for months after that and still have nightmares and visions that bring me back into that horrid house. And even after years later, I have no idea what went down there. Good evening, everyone. If you happen to like our content, then please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing is free. If you ever feel the need to change it, you can always do so. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that way you never miss any of our content. Now back to the video. This just happened to me less than an hour ago from the time I started writing this, about 10:15 p.m. in eastern Pennsylvania, Bucks County specifically, if you know where that is. This first part of my encounter all happened within a span of maybe 20 seconds. I was driving home from seeing my boyfriend. Don't know if y'all care about any of this, but FYI, I am a 19-year-old female. I want to be completely honest so y'all know that I'm not lying. I hit a dab cartridge once or twice right before this happened, but I have a very high tolerance and no history of weed-induced psychosis or hallucinations. I even doubted myself about what happened until I told my boyfriend when I got home. This drive is about 45 minutes each way, and I do often drive like 3 or 4 times a week. I know these roads very well and I'm not easily spooked. I was about 15 minutes into my drive home. It was raining pretty heavily as I was coming down this one highway, and it's pretty dark with only a few streetlights here and there. I was pretty much alone on the streets for most of my drive home since it was really late and it was raining. As I was going down this highway at like 60 miles per hour, I suddenly saw this tall, deer-like figure in my headlights about 200 feet away from me. I immediately started braking because, from a distance, I thought it was just your typical big buck standing in the middle of the road. It happens all the time in Pennsylvania as we have no shortage of deer. But as I was approaching closer to this deer, I see it was freakishly tall and very slender. It almost looked like someone took an image of a deer and stretched it out vertically, honestly. I also noticed that my headlights aren't lighting the thing up, not even my brights. All I could see was this bold black silhouette right there in the middle of the road, unmoving. Because all I see is a silhouette, I couldn't tell if it was standing on all 4 legs or 2, but the height and its stretched out quality of its appearance had me thinking it was 2. I was struggling to brake fast enough to avoid this deer without spinning out on the wet roads, but I eventually slowed down, and as I got slower and closer to this thing, it started getting fuzzy. I squint. I turn my wipers on faster. It's still fuzzy. As I came to a full stop, it suddenly just disappeared, completely vanished into thin air. So now I'm stopped in the middle of the road on this empty highway thinking I'm going insane because this roughly 12-foot tall figure that I know I saw just wasn't there anymore. It didn't jump out of the way. It didn't run. It just vanished. I shook off the spooks and then I hit the gas again, trying to convince myself that I'm going crazy because the alternative was too scary to even think about. A few minutes down the road, I see something else, this time a lot smaller, closer to the size of your average deer. But it definitely wasn't a deer or any animal that is widely accepted as real because it just suddenly showed up in front of my car. Like it wasn't on the left side of the road until it was in front of my car, running across the road. I should have hit it. It was right in front of me. With the speed I was going, there is no way that it would have made it across the street in time since it was maybe 5 feet away from my car when it first appeared. I didn't even get a chance to brace myself for impact on how close it was. but nothing happened. I didn't hit anything, not even a rock under my tire. At this point, I'm convinced that I've gone certifiably insane. I checked my rearview mirrors to see if there was even a deer, but it was too dark to tell. The rest of the way home, I drove as slowly as I safely could, just in case I saw something again. At last, I made it home without any other incident. I don't know exactly what I saw. I don't know why. If it was a Wendigo, it didn't hurt me since everything I know about Wendigos points to them being malevolent beings. I'm just freaked out, I guess. I wanted to share my story. If anyone has a better identification for whatever this thing was, let me know. For now, I think I'm gonna get myself a dash cam. Pennsylvania roads are freaking spooky. I can't stop thinking about this. I saw an actual deer on my way home from work today and I was instantly paralyzed in fear. I felt like it was taunting me. I don't know how to explain it. I could feel its eyes burning on my skin. Good evening, everyone. This is Yuri K, and this is the end of the video. Please leave a comment and let us know your opinions on the matter. If you happen to like this content, please check out our other videos. Make sure you like and share amongst your friends and family to help our community grow. You happen to be new to this channel? Please make sure you subscribe. It's free and you can always change it in the future. You have some terrifying story suggestions? If so, make sure that you send it to my email, fearofthedarkstories@gmail.com, and I'll feature it in a future segment. But you guys stay safe out there, and remember to always be afraid of the dark.